My husband forgot my birthday for the second year in a row but went all out for his sister's party. When I told him I felt hurt, he told me to grow up and focus on what really matters. It wasn't the first time. I should have expected it. But somehow, each year, I let myself hope. Hope that maybe, just maybe, this time he'd remember. That this time he'd care. It wasn't about extravagant gifts or grand gestures, it was about being acknowledged. A simple, happy birthday would have sufficed. A card, a hug, a small effort to show that I mattered. But no, for the second year in a row, my husband forgot my birthday. It's not like I'm asking for the moon. We don't have to go on some extravagant trip or throw a lavish party. I'm not that person. I'm not materialistic. But I do need to feel like I'm important. I do need to feel like I matter, at least once a year, on the day that's supposed to be about me. The first year he forgot, I made excuses for him. Maybe he was overwhelmed with work. Maybe he had a lot on his plate. But when it happened again, this year, it hit me harder than I expected. I had been reminding him. I had been dropping hints, trying to make it clear that my birthday was coming up. It was the least I could do to ensure that I wasn't forgotten again. Weeks before my birthday, I casually brought it up. "Hey, my birthday's coming up in a couple of weeks," I said, trying to sound nonchalant. "We should maybe do something nice." I wasn't asking for a big celebration. Just something that showed he cared. He nodded, half listening, distracted by his phone. "Yeah, we'll figure something out." But nothing ever came of it. As the days passed, I tried to tell myself it wasn't a big deal. After all, birthdays are just a date on the calendar, right? But deep down, I knew that it wasn't just about the date. It was about the thought, the effort. It was about feeling valued. I didn't need him to buy me an expensive gift. I just wanted him to remember. I wanted him to make me feel special, just for one day. The day before my birthday, I casually asked, "So, what do you think we should do tomorrow?" I wanted him to at least acknowledge the day, even if it was just a simple plan. But he looked at me with confusion in his eyes. "Tomorrow? What's tomorrow?" he asked. "Tomorrow is my birthday," I said, trying to hide the frustration in my voice. I wasn't angry yet, just hurt. But his response, his lack of response, was already starting to sting. "Oh, right. Sorry. I'll figure something out," he said, quickly brushing me off. That night, I tried not to think too much about it. Maybe he was just busy. Maybe he had something planned that he didn't want to spoil. I convinced myself that it was fine. But when I woke up the next morning, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. I tried to push it aside, but it lingered. My birthday came and went without so much as a text. He didn't even say, "Happy birthday," when he kissed me goodbye in the morning. He just left, like any other day. No surprise, no excitement, no acknowledgement. It wasn't the end of the world, but it felt like it. That night, when he came home, he didn't even look my way. I was sitting in the living room, watching TV, trying to distract myself from the gnawing feeling in my chest. He walked in, grabbed a beer from the fridge, and plopped down on the couch without saying a word. It was as if it wasn't even a special day. It was as if I didn't exist. "Hey," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "did you remember what today is?" He glanced up at me briefly, his face blank. No. What It's my birthday," I said, the words feeling heavy in my mouth. I couldn't believe I had to say it. But there it was. "Oh. Right," he said, not sounding sorry at all. "I've been really busy today." I nodded, trying to hold back the tears that were threatening to spill. "I get that. But it's my birthday. I thought maybe we could do something, or even just spend some time together. It's not about the gifts, but you didn't even remember." "I didn't mean to forget," he said dismissively. "I've just had a lot going on." "You're overreacting." I felt the sting of his words, but I tried to stay calm. "I'm not overreacting. I'm hurt. It's not about the presents or the party. It's about you showing me that you care. But you didn't. And that hurts. He shrugged. You're making a big deal out of nothing. We'll do something next weekend, okay? I didn't say anything. I couldn't. I didn't want to start a fight, but my heart was breaking. This wasn't just about one day, it was about how little he seemed to care. I tried to tell myself that it wasn't a big deal, but it was. It really was. I spent the rest of the night in silence, my mind racing. I was hurt. I was angry. But mostly, I felt invisible. It was as if I didn't matter. As if I was just a background character in his life, and he was too distracted to even notice. The next day, he was still distant. He didn't even bring it up again. He didn't apologize. He didn't make any effort to make things right. He just went about his day like nothing had happened. And that, more than anything, made me feel small. A few days later, his sister was throwing a party. And suddenly, it was like he had all the energy in the world. He was planning it, organizing it, making sure everything was perfect. He was so excited, texting her constantly, asking if she needed help, if everything was ready. He spent hours picking out decorations, ordering food, making sure everyone had what they needed. And then, when the day came, he was practically glowing with excitement. He was running around, making sure the music was just right, making sure everyone was comfortable. He was fully invested in his sister's celebration, and I couldn't help but feel like a ghost standing on the sidelines. The contrast between how he treated his sister's party and how he had treated my birthday was stark. For his sister, he went all out. For me, he couldn't even remember the day. It wasn't just that he forgot my birthday, it was that he made no effort to make me feel loved. He was spending all his time and energy on someone else, and I was left in the shadows. At the party, I stood off to the side, watching him. He was laughing, joking, talking to everyone, enjoying himself. But when he looked over at me, it was as if I wasn't even there. I wanted to scream, but I stayed silent. I didn't want to ruin his fun. I didn't want to be the bad guy. But inside, I was seething. I was hurt. I was angry. And I was beginning to question everything. That night, when we got home, I couldn't hold it in anymore. Why did you go all out for your sister's party but completely forget about my birthday? I asked, my voice shaking with emotion. Why does she matter more than I do? He looked at me like I was crazy. What are you talking about? She's my sister. I know she's your sister, I said, fighting back tears. But I'm your wife. You didn't even remember my birthday. You didn't even care. He sighed, rubbing his face. This again? I told you, I've been busy. I didn't mean to forget. But you're making a big deal out of nothing. I can't be expected to remember everything. You remember everything for her, I shot back. You're planning her party, making sure everything is perfect. But when it comes to me, I don't even matter. You're being unreasonable, he said, crossing his arms. I'm sorry I forgot, but you need to grow up. It's just a birthday. You're overreacting. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You want me to grow up? Is that it? You want me to just accept that you don't care about me? You want me to accept being invisible? He didn't respond. He just stood there, looking at me like I was the problem. And that's when it hit me, I was fighting for someone who wasn't even fighting for me. He didn't care. Not really. If he did, he wouldn't have forgotten my birthday 2 years in a row. He wouldn't have made me feel like I didn't matter. I can't do this anymore, I said, my voice breaking. I don't think I can keep living like this. I don't want to feel invisible in my own marriage. And with that, I walked away, unsure of what the future held. But I knew one thing, I couldn't keep fighting for someone who wasn't fighting for me.